Moses. The scriptural record of Moses is clear and precise, and he is the dominant character of the books from Exodus to Deuteronomy. He was the son of a Levite, Amram, by his wife, Jochebed, and was younger than his brother and sister, Aaron and Miriam. He was adopted as an infant by Pharaoh's daughter and received the education and upbringing of an Egyptian prince. In a fit of anger at seeing an Israelite abused by an Egyptian slave driver, he killed the Egyptian and had to run for his life to Midian, where he settled for a while and married Zipporah, daughter of a flockmaster named Jethro. While there, and at Mount Horeb, he had the vision of the burning bush and heard God command him to return to Egypt and liberate Israel. This he did after dispute with Pharaoh. He led Israel out towards Canaan, and at Mount Sinai received from God the Decalogue or 10 Commandments. For one reason or another he was fated not to set foot in the Promised Land. He died at Mount Pisgah in old age, leaving 2 sons, Gershom and Eleazar. Jewish tradition credits him with the authorship of the first 5 books of the Old Testament, the Pentateuch. His name is often mentioned with the utmost respect in the Quran, the Bible of Islam. The name Moses is Egyptian in its form, and some have made much of this, claiming that Moses was not Israelite but Egyptian. The whole story of the period is so vague and uncertain that all sorts of theories can be held, for reasons good or bad. But though scholars differ about who Moses was, they agree that there certainly was a Moses, and that he certainly performed a work which still affects the life and thought of the world. He stands right at the beginning of monotheism, the Hebrew worship of Jehovah, the one God. He may have been the interpreter of some other man's ideas, he may have reached the conclusion himself, but he is the one who persuaded the Hebrews that there is but one God, and so made it possible for them to produce, and then to reject the Son of God. He is one of the shapers of world thought, he is a religious pioneer. Whether he was Egyptian or not, it is a certainty that his idea of God did not come to him in Egypt. Such splendid sublime thoughts are the product of loneliness. Hard religions come out of the world's deserts. He found his idea of God on Sinai when the lightnings flashed and the thunders rolled and the people trembled. His leadership and the conquest are historic. It is worth noting that when the prophets railed against the twists and turns that religion had taken, their accusation was that the nation had fallen away from something old, simple and pure, namely, the faith that had been taught them by Moses. As a statesman and lawgiver, Moses is the creator of the Jewish people. He found a loose conglomeration of Semitic people, none of whom had ever been anything but a slave, and whose ideas of religion were a complete confusion. He led them out and he hammered them into a nation, with a law and a national pride, and a compelling sense of being chosen by a particular God who was supreme. The only man of history who can be compared even remotely to him is Muhammad. The scripture account tends to elaborate for the sake of impression, but behind all the elaboration stands a man of tremendous worth and achievement, whose mark upon the life of the world is as important as it is incalculable.